Welcome, Hornets, and thank you for joining me today. Today we're going to be taking a look at the complex graphing of sine and cosine when all four transformations are present. When there is a change in the period, the amplitude, the phase shift, as well as a vertical shift. Now, the easiest parts to do are the parts that we do first. And they are to take the vertical shift, raise up the graph from the center line, and then identify our amplitude above and below. In this problem, we're going to then find 1, 2, 3. 3 is now my center line, and then I'm going to do my amplitude 2 up and 2 down. Once I have it, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put on my center line. I'll identify it as y equals 3. And I'm now going to stop and think for a minute. Now I know that I normally would start at a 0 theta. So what I have to do is I have to figure out what does that phase shift and that change in period do? Where does my first value, which would have started at 0 pi, move to? So what you're going to do is you're going to take 0 pi and you're going to set it equal to 4 parenthesis theta 1 minus pi over 6. And I'm now going to find my first theta, the first value where I begin. And to do that, I'm going to divide by 4, and then I'm going to add pi over 6. So I have 0 equaling theta 1 minus pi over 6 after I divide, and therefore I am left with pi over 6 is theta 1. And I'm going to put my pi over 6 somewhere. Let's call it right here. I now need to find out where is the value for the next one over. And the next one we would normally do is pi over 2. So I'm going to locate what is the pi over 2 equivalent. This is now my second theta. And I'm going to divide by 4. So I get pi over 8 equals theta 2 minus pi over 6. I'm therefore looking at pi over 8 plus pi over 6, and this will give me theta 2. I then multiply and add, and the common denominator is 24th, so I have 3 pi over 24, and then I'm adding to it 4 pi over 24. This will then give me theta 2, and theta 2 I am now going to say is 7 pi over 24. So how far did I go to get to that 7 pi over 24? I went pi over 6 from the pi over 8, and that is 4 pi over 24. So if I locate 4 little tick marks, each of those is 1/24. I just went 3/24 over, so I'm going to go 1, 2, and 3. This is now 7 pi over 24. I'm now going to go another 3 over, 1, 2, 3. This is going to give me 10 pi over 24, which I can write as 5 pi over 12. Then 1, 2, 3. This is then going to give me 10 pi over 24 gives me 13 pi over 24. Now you'll notice, I started with pi over 6. I found the next value and I asked, how far did I move past pi over 6? 3 pi over 24. So I've identified 3 pi over 24 and I keep adding 3 pi over 24. Now if I go backward, this right here is my pi over 24. And if I keep going, I'm going to keep finding other values. For example, I can add 3 more 24ths. That's going to give me 16 24ths, and 16 24ths is the same as 8 twelfths, and 8 twelfths is the same as, what? 8 twelfths divide 2 thirds, so I get 2 pi over 3. Let me just double check that. That was 16 24ths. That's 8 twelfths. That is 2 thirds. So 2 thirds pi is correct. Now you'll notice I can keep working backward or forward by adding 24ths. And as I keep doing this, I will find my second period. So if I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, so subtracting 3 24ths is negative 2 24ths, negative 2 24ths is negative pi over 12. This would therefore give me 2, 3, 4, 5 24ths. Subtracting another 3, 1, 2, 3 is going to give me negative 8 24ths. Let's just make sure I get that one. That's going to be dividing by 8 gives me negative 1/3 of pi. And I now have 2 periods identified. I'm now ready to graph, starting at the center line at pi over 6. Sine then goes up, then down, then down, and then up. Going in the opposite direction, we go down, then up, up, and down. And I now have my graph. My graph looks like this. Once again, I'm moving the piece of paper in order to graph it so that it's easier to graph. I'm doing that sinusoidal shape that we've talked about over and over again. Looks like a sine function as it oscillates in its periodicity. So as it goes through its periods. And I'm now ready to finish by plotting my points. So I have at 2 pi over 3, I'm at 3. At 13 pi over 24, I'm at positive 1. At 5 pi over 12, I'm at 3 again. At 7 pi over 12, I'm at 5. At pi over 6, I'm back to 3. Pi over 24 is 1. Negative pi over 12 is back to 3 again. Negative 5 pi over 24 is back up to 5. And negative pi over 3 is back to 3. So let's review what we did. We started off by equating. The normal first value that we work with as sine is 0 pi. We say 0 pi has to equal that inside piece, 4 times theta minus pi over 6, the quantity. I set them equal and I solve for my first theta. I then do the same thing with pi over 2, and I find my second theta. Now, I can keep doing this. So I can then set pi equal to the same thing and find the pi over 12, or take 3 pi over 2, set it equal, and find 13 pi over 24, and then finish with 2 pi and do the same thing. I can then do my negative pi over 2, negative pi, negative 3 pi over 2, and negative 2 pi, and I can find all 8 values. Or I can simply recognize that I moved over 3 pi over 24, and therefore just work backward and forward to find them. And this is graphing with the phase shift. It is the easiest way I can conceive of doing it. Equate values, plot them on the graph, look at the change in the values, and then repeat that change. Or set each of our ordinate values 0, pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi equal to the 4 times theta minus pi over 6, and simply find all of the values, which you then put on your graph. That's the process. It is tedious, it is time consuming, and it does require you to think as you do them. I hope this has helped. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I will continue to make videos as needed as we continue with our graphing process. Okay, the next graphs that I'll have to do will be tangent, and then we will work with our inverse tangents. Thank you very much, Hornets. I hope this has helped. If you liked it, please remember to click like. Feel free to watch it as many times as you need so that you get the idea of what you're doing as you shift and move your points. Thank you very much. Be well, be safe, and take care. And thank you. Bye-bye now. Cheers.